You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups.
You want answers?
You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas,
okay.
Alex Jones.
Going through your calls here, then Kurt Haskell pops in, then back to your calls. We were talking to Joseph in Tennessee. I'm going to go back to him. He's saying gas prices affecting U.S. economy. This is what needs to be known. Everything is rigged. Interest rates, the stock market, casinos, even Rolling Stone, Matt Taibbi, who they glorify in the media as knowing everything, says everything is rigged, the biggest price-fixing scandal ever. And it gets into LIBOR and so much more. And he goes into the real international conspiracy. Conspiracy theorists of the world, believers in the hidden hand of the Rothschilds, the Masons, the Illuminati. We skeptics owe you an apology. You were right. The players were a little bit different, but your basic premise is correct. The world is rigged. Well, no, then you'll learn that they just use Masonic orders and other orders. Not that the Masons were the conspiracy. They would use the secret chambers and procedures as the envelope, like a virus will use a cell to replicate in. Just like they'll use a police department, the corrupt will, to take over if they can, to engage in organized crime, too big to fail, because the system will defend it, not wanting the truth to come out. There's that natural instinct to insulate the corruption. But when you talk about the rigging of things, it's all public. An AP investigative report in 2001 had the big 10 oil companies meeting in 95, 96, to shut down and use environmentalist groups to shut down refineries they didn't own, to create an artificial bottleneck to guarantee high prices, even if there was an oil war and a glut by pumping too much oil. So there's that. Then, diesel is a distillate of gasoline and has always been cheaper till the last 5 years and is now way more than gas in a giant screw job. Just like ranchers are going bankrupt with record low sales of beef, but then the meat packers sell it at record high prices. It's a rigged game, and it hurts the consumer. So gas prices were way too high for a while. Now they're way too low. It will hurt the economy in a lot of different ways. But the only boom sector we had was energy. And we already have so many other commodities going up. This is meant to kind of hide the other commodities going up and slow inflation. They did it to slow inflation, bankrupt Russia, and shut down burgeoning independent oil companies and exploration to make the U.S. energy independent, as well as Canada. And the Saudis are financing the shutdown of shale oil exploration all over the world, not just here. That's a fact. That's what's admitted. It's not debated. Joseph in Tennessee, you got a couple minutes to finish up and give us from your research why you say it hurts the economy.
Well, just looking at what it's done to Russia. Okay, we all know that the American economy is in complete shambles. And I couldn't agree with you more that that's why they call it the world stage, because everything's set up, just like you've said a million times.
Well, on big stuff like global energy, it's rigged. I mean, it wasn't totally rigged. The Russians and U.S. suppliers tried to drive down prices naturally, and the system went, you know what we're going to do? We're going to drop the hammer and bankrupt you. How's that sound? This is to jack the prices up to the moon later.
Uh-huh. And it's just what I've seen is that, Russia has got, their economy was already fragile. Given what happened with the gas, it completely bankrupt their economy. Well, not completely, but,
No, they're bankrupt. They're going down right now.
Well, looking at how fragile the United States economy is, what do you think that's going to do to us? Since the energy, the energy output and the energy sales, what we've done is the only thing that's really been keeping us afloat. I think it was done to completely destroy, to put the last nail in the coffin of the U.S. economy.
Well, if it goes on too long and it's too low, if they cut gas prices 40, 50%, that would have been reasonable for what it really costs to explore and deploy and then have a profit. From the numbers I've seen, it would have been okay. Cutting it in half or even more will end up hurting the economy and is not balanced. I mean, Oil is going down to basically below what it takes to get it out of the ground. And that's the bankrupt competition. When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
In the near future. When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operations.
We let the worst people get controlled and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
It's a popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun. You can feel it. Every year we make resolutions to lose weight and get in shape. And the truth is, it's hard, even with diet and exercise, because of toxic food in our environment that is stressing our bodies more than ever before. Working with experts in nutrition and biochemistry, I found that super high-quality nutraceuticals, in addition to my diet and exercise, were the answers that synergistically worked. I could see the drastic changes every day with the amount of weight I've lost, my increased stamina, and more of a twinkle in my eye. That's why we are now so excited to launch the InfoWars Life Resolution Pack, combining 3 essential formulations: oxygen-based cleanser Oxy Powder, the Secret 12 bioavailable vitamin B12, and your choice of Super Female or Super Male Vitality. Now all available at a discounted price to you and your family to bring in the new year and make 2015 a true success. That's InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. 2015 is the year to do it, and it all starts at InfoWarsLife.com.
Renewed hostile actions against United States ships on the high seas and the Gulf of Tonkin have today required me to order the military forces of the United States to take action in reply.
Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
Senator Kennedy has been shot. Is that possible? He still has the gun. The gun is pointed at me at this moment. Take a hold of his thumb and break it if you have to. We are the Constitution, and we are defending it. We agree. Let's try our best.
People calling themselves members of the Weather Underground last night planted bombs in federal office buildings in Washington and Oakland, California.
They took the babies out of the incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor.
Survivors of the USS Liberty are demanding a congressional investigation into what happened, an acknowledgement that the Israeli Air Force bombed a U.S. intelligence Navy ship.
The death of bin Laden marks the most significant achievement to date in our nation's effort to defeat al-Qaeda.
The Taliban is taking responsibility for shooting down a U.S. helicopter. More than 30 people were killed, and there are reports this morning that most of them are U.S. Navy SEALs.
There may be a false flag incident where some ship goes down and you be used for the excuse to accelerate the next war.
If there's one thing that has unified Democrats and Republicans and everybody in between, is that we all hated the bank bailout.
The Department of Homeland Security is apparently on a huge ammo buying spree.
It comes out to like 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition.
Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people.
They estimated that they would have to eliminate 25 million people in these re-education centers. And when I say eliminate, I mean kill.
I'm here to warn people. You keep telling me to shut up. This isn't a game.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
It is estimated by Lancet, British Medical Journal, and others that in the 4.5-year staged Western-backed civil war in Syria, 350,000+ people have been killed, upwards of 200,000+ of those being innocent civilians, most of the casualties being carried out by Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda IS-affiliated groups. Almost 100% of the Syrian Free Army that John McCain and others have met with and financed and given more than $10 billion of U.S. taxpayer money so far, almost all of them are Al-Qaeda. They fly Al-Qaeda flags, you name it. Now we learn the girlfriend of 3 of the supposed Paris shooters has fled through Turkey, even though she's on a no-fly list, and was able to get days ago into Syria, their home base, where they control about 1/3 of the country in the east of Syria into the west of Iraq. Huge convoys that invaded Iraq were allowed to invade. Nothing was done. Now they airdrop them weapons. And now we learn Paris shooters trained, and we have these clips, with underwear bomber Patsy. Evidence reveals CIA, FBI complicit in allowing Paris shooting to happen. Now, we have Colonel Schaefer from years ago who ran the unit hunting bin Laden, and he was twice not allowed to kill him, saying that, yes, Anwar al-Awlaki is a double, triple agent of our government. He's the guy that ran Hassan, that ran the underwear bomber, and that is now running these idiots who were allowed to have rocket launchers and machine guns and had Facebooks planning terror attacks, but we need more cybersecurity and 10,000 troops on the streets of France and troops here. And Obama has now introduced legislation, he's pushing for it, that is SOPA and CISPA by a new name. That's the headline, Infowars.com. That story just went live. So you can see the new leg of financing and opening up radical Islamicists. Now, Kurt Haskell's a successful lawyer along with his wife, and he survived the Christmas Day underwear bombing and witnessed it all. A month and a half after he said he saw a U.S. person get him on the plane without proper identification, it was admitted in Congress. We played those clips yesterday. I wanted to get him on. He's now run for Congress and failed, tried to fix things that way, left Detroit. He's moved to Costa Rica. Quite frankly, I want to go join him. But I've pledged to stay here until the end. As Churchill said, we shall go on to the end. Whatever the cost may be, we shall defend our island. We shall never surrender. Well, I will go on to the end, whatever the cost may be. I will defend the Republic. I will go on to the end. I will never surrender. And I'm not saying he surrendered. He does a weekly radio show, updates his website. A lot of expats are down there. Beautiful place to go. I want to move down there, but I just got to stay in Texas and be sick from the cedar pollen. But we go now to Kurt Haskell. I'm going to give him the floor to talk about the latest events, Paris, what he saw, what happened to him. I got to tell you, man, you were never fat, but you've lost a lot of weight, and you look like Dana White of the UFC now. Don't beat me up. How long you been in Costa Rica? It looks like it's been good for you. You lost a lot of weight. You look like you're 10 years younger.
Yeah, 8 months now. Yeah. You know, it helps staying in shape when you don't work and you get the proper amount of rest and the proper diet. And, you know, when you go to the gym every day, you can give it your all. So it helps a lot.
Well, you got the floor, brother, for this segment and the next. You want to start back at the beginning of the underwear bombing you witnessed? You want to...
Well, just a couple quick thoughts on that. I really want to talk about Paris more, but for your listeners that don't know, you know, I spent 2 years and 2,000 hours of my own time investigating the underwear bomber case. So my conclusions that I finally drew in that case weren't just made on a whim. I thoroughly put a lot of my own time into figuring out why this happened to us and what my ultimate conclusion was that the CIA put the underwear bomber on her plane intentionally, knowing that they had provided him a defective bomb that would light a small fire on her plane, but knowing that it didn't have a detonator that would blow up and blow the plane out of the sky. So with Umar thinking that